What is going on, Polestar fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I'm going to give you a good breakdown of the data points, what they're truly saying. And over and above that though, I want to talk on if right now is a good time to buy Polestar or not. So I'm going to go over all of that. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So based on Thursday, it surprisingly was red, so negative 0.29%. And it did, as you can see, based on the intraday volume, it was all over the place right here. And so in general, it's very surprising because they came out with this good PR in the morning. And it says the Swedish electric performance car brand delivered 12,000 vehicles, up almost 26% year over year. So as I've said, every single video, Polestar just does not make sense. They actually get and hit all the necessary targets, but yet it goes down. So something doesn't really add up behind the scenes. My own opinion, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but when it comes down to that, a little bit more concerning. But keep in mind as well, this recently did come out as well. So Tesla is going to be cutting the prices on all of their US models. And previously it was just select models for them, but now it looks like it's going to be across the board. So in general, that's going to most likely trickle down to a lot of the other EVs. And when it comes down to Tesla, I think that's one of the more comparable ones to Polestar at this stage in the game, because Tesla and Polestar are the only pure global EV plays out there, as I've said in the past. So potentially though, that might be something that does affect Polestar right now, because Polestar is going through a expansionary stage right now. So I think they're hitting a lot of the new exciting markets right now, but they are going to encounter most likely a roadblock fairly soon, similar to what happened with Tesla and a lot of the other EVs are encountering right now. So as much as I like to stay optimistic on Polestar, there's a little bit of me that does think that something potentially is going to hit them. And when it hits them, it's going to hit the stock price even worse, because coincidentally, looking at this data, it's very positive, as it has been. But yet looking at the stock price, it's acting as though it's a pre-production company. It doesn't necessarily make sense or any justifiable reason why it's going down as much as it is. So of course, there's that point in reality. So I'm going to go over the rest of the data points first and foremost, starting off with shorts. And the reason why I bring up shorts is not necessarily because there's going to be a squeeze, just because it's a good benchmark. So short score is currently 65. There's currently right now almost $24 million worth of shorts out there. So pretty significant. And over and above that though, utilization is around 88%. And currently there is 6.98 million shares being shorted, and that works out to be about 2.69%. And it surprisingly has gone up a little bit over the last little bit in general. So of course that might be something to potentially worry about, but Polestar, as far as their overall short interest, it's surprisingly lower than even Tesla. So just to compare apples and oranges in that regard. And when it comes down to, like I said, this news, I think this news is very optimistic, but keep in mind, based on I think it was their annual or their Q4 earnings, they did signal that there is going to be most likely a little bit of dilution coming at least. So most likely that's going to be this quarter potentially. So Q2 or maybe Q3. So just be aware of that. And on a side note, other than this news that did come out, there isn't really anything causing Polestar to really go up, down, sideways. No justifiable reasons, no SEC filings as well, other than clearly that news. But like I said, I think it's just following the broader market, but it's getting hit so much harder, and it just doesn't make sense. As far as this upcoming week, there is a lot of good data points that could potentially give Polestar a nice rally up, and that is starting with Wednesday with CPI. And of course, CPI very much linked to inflation. I don't need to explain that to you, because that's been one of the biggest things that people have been caring about over the last year potentially. On Thursday there is PPI, and then on Friday there is retail sales. And of course, they did recently announce about them kicking off their US tour starting on the 7th, and that is going to be with the South Coast. April the 8th, it is going to be kind of the Orange County kind of area and things like that. San Jose, April the 14th, Marin, if I'm saying that right, April the 16th, Portland, Bellevue on April the 28th, and more stops obviously to be announced, which on a side note would be pretty cool if they do somehow transition from the US and just keep going up and hit up the Vancouver area potentially in Canada. That would be pretty cool. But no matter what though, I think this is a pretty big thing, like I've said, and based on the Q4 earnings, I think that's been one of the biggest fears of Polestar, is just that they're not really hitting the US market as much as they potentially could, because based on the price point, Polestars in theory could do a lot of pretty good things in the US market. Just the only thing that they stated was the US dollar was too high to really integrate and kind of move in there, but since then it's been going down, and I think it's anticipated to continue to go down, so might be a little bit more of a positive thing for Polestar. But like I said, I think there is something coming that might really slow their progress down. And when it comes down to options activity from Thursday, a little bit abnormal. So you do see just two big outliers right here, one very large one that's around $15,000 or $16,000 worth of puts. And then there is this first thing in the morning, and that's around $11,000 in call premium. So kind of conflicting, but for the most part still orienting towards the upside. So based on all of the calls from Thursday, $65,000, and based on the puts, around $27,000. And just keeping in line with the options activity, I'll quickly go over to Ortex. So as you can see, based on the put/call ratio, it is starting to go down, meaning that there's a lot more calls being purchased. And of course, that does mean that there is a lot more upside anticipated, especially based on these prices. It doesn't make sense that it's around the $3 range right now. But of course, like I said, playing into everything, is right now a good time to buy Polestar or not? So right now, $339, so it is right above this S1. So $3.24 is going to be something to really watch for. And based on everything, especially like I said with CPI, PPI, and then retail sales, if one of those is negative, then potentially it could easily break below this 324. And surprisingly enough, like I said, even with good news, it does go down. So potentially it could easily break this 324 range and trend between this 265 and 324. So most likely, if you're one of those individuals that likes to think long term, then yeah, take advantage of these discounted prices, because logically I can't see it staying at these prices for that much longer, because like I've mentioned, with Polestar and Tesla, they are the only pure global EV plays out there. So even if, for instance, with dilution maybe in this quarter or the following quarter, and potentially a little bit more of a demand problem, potentially similar to what is happening with Tesla, then I still see it kind of staying within this range, and surprisingly a little bit higher than this, because like I said, I think this has just been hit beyond belief, more than even what it should be. Even after it got hit and everything, I personally feel that Polestar could be around the $5.50 to $6 range, given the current environment of the economy right now, higher interest rate, inflation, so forth. So like I said, if you believe in Polestar and EVs, definitely take advantage of these discounted prices. But if you're one of those individuals that likes to catch the exact bottom and you feel satisfied by that, then most likely I do see it unfortunately trending down a little bit, especially with stochastic currently at 44 and a bearish sentiment behind the scenes. I think in general it could potentially break below this and trend in this range, so 265. I don't see it touching 265 this round at least, so most likely around the $3 range. That'll be a very good psychological level. So if you are one of those individuals that wants to catch a tentative short-term bottom potentially, then $3 might be the way to go. But like I've said in the past, it really pains me to assume that Polestar is going to go down. It's just based on the historical data, because Polestar is one of the only ones out there getting the actual results. It just doesn't make sense. But like I said, based on where I see things going, it kind of is factoring in that nonsense that's been happening. So it's kind of, you have to counter the non-productiveness or whatever it is that's happening in the market. But like I said, Polestar will eventually have its time to shine, and eventually once people do see the actual good results that they've been getting, the good technology that they're really integrating in, for instance, a lot of their newer vehicles as well, then Polestar is going to go up very, very fast. And in general, most likely just quickly jump up to that $6 range that I do feel that it should actually be. So like I said, within this range, a lot of this has just been very much just unjustified, like I've mentioned. So once again, let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, selling, holding. Where do you see things going? Give yourself yourself a shout out in the comments below. If you haven't already though, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my Polestar content and want to support the channel, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. One final thing I just wanted to share with you, click on the link in the description below and also the comments and sign up for a free account with 𝗪𝗧𝗪. All you have to do, like I said, is very simple to do. Sign up and you get one free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, plus you do get $0 commission and free level 2 data. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So make sure you guys do take advantage of this. And this is only up until I believe the end of April. So take advantage while you can. And if you do want to throw $100 at the account as well, you do get 5 free stocks in total. Like I said, each stock is valued up to $2,000. So it is literally a no-brainer. Let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. And without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Polestar.